All right. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for being here. If you're here, then you're probably like most of the clients I've had over the last 10 years, and you're looking for a simple solution to make weight loss successful and sustainable. That is why we're here. And I think if you are like most, you probably have some preconceived notions in terms of what healthy nutrition is and how to reach your goals, right? Maybe you've heard carbs are bad. Maybe you believe you can't have chocolate. Maybe you believe that cheese is stopping you from losing weight. We all have these kind of deeply ingrained beliefs, whether it's because we've heard it from somebody who's had results, maybe because we had results on a diet, and now maybe that diet's not working anymore, but we all have these things. So before we even start, I just want I want you to recognize what those may be for you, and then ask yourself a little bit about why do I have these preconceived notions? And I want you just to be open as we go through this today, okay? Because what we're going to do today, and I'm going to try to keep this short. I know you're busy. Um, I got to get home and help with the kids. So we're going to try to keep this short, but this is going to be an educational piece, right? That's why you're here. That's why you clicked on it. I want to give you some value. This is not going to be a sales presentation like I'm sure you've seen before. My belief is that if I can give people value, when the time is right, they'll come out and reach out to me. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you kind of the breakdown of how to do this and why it works and why a lot of what we think might not be the answer. It might be a part of the answer, right? Um, because if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to get off medication, if you're just not feeling good, if you're depressed, if you look in the mirror and don't have confidence, we need to work on those things. We need to fix those things. Like I want you to be happy. I know personally how transformation could change your life, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. I've seen it in my clients, and I want that for you. So let's get into it. All right. All right. So first, successful, sustainable transformations. What does that mean? Well, it essentially means that we need to have kind of three things in place that are not on this board, but are but are included. One, we need a sustainable nutrition plan or a sustainable nutrition approach that you can do for life. Because if you can't do it long term, you will fail, right? So that's kind of number one is we have to have something that works for you that is sustainable. Number two is we need enough exercise to maintain muscle mass. We don't need to build muscle, but we don't want to lose muscle because as we lose muscle, one, it affects us later in life from a movement standpoint. And if we can't move, things are going downhill. But also, one of the reasons that people gain weight back if they lose it too fast is that as they lose muscle, when they start to eat normally again, their body is not only trying to get back to its body fat levels that it was before diet, it's also trying to get back to its pre-diet muscle mass levels. And to do that, it's probably going to have you gain more fat, more calories, so that it can level out and balance out that muscle mass where it was. So a key is maintaining muscle. And you'd be surprised, it doesn't take a lot to maintain muscle. Okay, maybe an hour and a half a week of resistance training, right? Two 45-minute sessions is all it might take. Okay, and then the third thing is just the simple fact that we are in a tough place right now, specifically in the United States, right? Our entire history has been about trying to find food, trying to find calories to survive, and now we're in this place where we can get food anywhere we want. Hyper palatable food, stuff that is genetically engineered to make our brains just throw a party, right? And we want more. So we are not designed to thrive right now in this situation. We are in an environment that is pushing us to obesity, and it's not our fault. It's the environment that we're in. And so part of helping people is that support system, that mentorship, that guidance, so that someone is there to help you avoid hurdles, essentially, right? Give you the fastest path possible to your results, right? And that can come in many forms. Obviously, support systems should be around you, right? Family, spouses, friends, people doing the things with you. That's why challenges are so cool and big for people, right? But mentorship is also obviously coaching, but having someone that you follow maybe on Facebook or on Instagram, assuming that you're following the people who are actually using science to help drive their clients' results, all right? So those three things. Now let's get into the nuts and bolts of this. I'm a very analytical person. I like to see I like the numbers, but then I do like to see these graphs and kind of just map it out in my head. So maybe this helps for you as well. All right, so first, let's understand that ultimately we're talking about calories in versus calories out, energy in versus energy out, but it's not always that simple. It is that simple, but it's not, right? As I wrote up here, we like to tell ourselves simple stories because simple stories sell. But I question, do those simple stories sometimes cause more harm than good? And I think the answer is yes. So the simple story is that energy in versus energy out is what dictates body fat, or not body fat, but weight, right? And this is true. But once we kind of get more nuanced, I hope this is going to clear things up for you. What determines these things is really what we're after, right? That's really the emphasis of this successful, sustainable piece. And so what is energy in? Well, mostly that's appetite, because no one who's watching this, or a very small percentage, has ever been truly, truly starving, like days, weeks, a month, okay? So appetite is really what is going to regulate this energy in. And then, of course, we can break down appetite even more if we wanted to. I'm not going to get into it now. I told you this is going to be fast. Energy out. That is like our basal metabolic rate, how many calories are burned at rest. It's our thermic effect of food. It's our non-exercise activity. It is our exercise activity. Most of the stuff is very, very small, and most of the stuff is very tightly regulated. And things down-regulate based off of this. These go in and out. So who runs the show? Who determines all this stuff, right? Who controls this? The brain. Right? The brain controls all of this stuff. So what do we have control over? Well, we have control over our non-exercise, right? Counting steps maybe. But if we're in a huge calorie deficit, what you'll see is people naturally move less. Who's doing that? The brain, right? Our metabolic rate is dictated off our age, our weight, our sex, our height, our hormones, our genetics. What can we control there? We can't control our age, our sex, our height. We can't control necessarily our hormones. We can't control the DNA that we've been dealt. Right? So we don't have a huge control over this. Thermic effect of food, how much we eat. We eat more food, we burn more. Kind of negligible, right? We talked about NEAT, and then exercise is a super small percentage of this. So this side of the equation, we don't have a ton of control over, which leads us to this side, right? This energy inside. Now, again, the brain controls this. So how do we help this energy inside piece of the puzzle? We have to have some thinky brain involved. We have to have something that is helping steer us, something that is somewhat counterbalancing that emotional side of us that is just going to eat. Like I said, we're in an environment where it's just there's food at us all the time. So how do we get on track, right? If you've ever read the book Switch, the idea of the elephant and the rider, I think this is essentially what we're talking about here. The elephant is the emotions, and the rider is the brain, and is that thinky brain. So we can think and try to steer that elephant, and it might work sometimes, but ultimately if that elephant wants to go somewhere, if those emotions want to go somewhere, it's going to go. So it's this juggling act, right? So we need some type of system to maintain and help control this energy in piece. Enter all of your diets, right? All of those plans. And like I talked about, I wanted you to kind of think back when we first started this talk about what are your preconceived notions or strongly held beliefs about food, about carbs, about proteins, about fats, about keto, about paleo, about whole foods or a vegan diet, whatever it may be, right? So let's just break these things down and talk about how these things work for people, why they work for people, why they might not work for people. At the bottom of the ring of the stairs, you've got ad libitum diets. So like anything that basically says you can eat this group of food, but you can't eat this group of food, right? They don't talk about calories or anything like that. They just remove an entire food group. And when we remove an entire food group, we automatically will end up eating less calories, right? So paleo, keto, Mediterranean, vegan, vegetarian, intermittent fasting, same idea. Then you have kind of the um, intuitive eating, right? Which is where we want to ultimately get to. I don't think we can start here because, again, if we're not having a system in place, we're already intuitively eating, and intuitively I want ice cream like for every meal. So I can't just rely right now on intuitive eating, right? Portion sizes, okay, gives us a way of tracking. All of these are just a method of tracking calories in and helping control this appetite, right? Portion sizes. You've got meal templates where you're weighing things sometimes. You've got calories, controlling calories and protein is typically how I like to do it. Is focusing on the protein piece. And then you've got the full-on macros, right? So which one of these approaches is good for you, is right for you? Well, it depends on your goals and it depends on your level of tracking. As your goals get more significant, your level of tracking, your level of detail, your level of nuance becomes more important, right? If my goal is just to be healthy, and I don't have specific extreme physique goals, perhaps, then I can probably live somewhere down here, right? If I want to get on stage in a competition, I probably need to live up here. And so determining your goals and being realistic, I think, is a massive piece of this puzzle. It also depends on, is my goal body composition, physique? Is my goal just health, like blood pressure, blood lipid levels, all of those things? Or is my goal performance based, right? Whether that's in the gym performance or something outside of the gym, because those three goals will determine a little bit about where on this ladder you need to possibly be. Okay. So we talked about those. We talked about this. This is the ultimate goal, right? This is how you get sustainable, successful transformation, is you understand what is underneath all of this. You understand that this is what we have control over, but we need to have something in place that helps us control this. Now, what that is, and I think where the frustration comes in is not knowing which one of these might be best for you and trying something because your friend did it or you heard, it's the newest diets on the web or whatever it may be, but it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit maybe your goals, or it doesn't fit your personality and your lifestyle, right? We have to choose something that is, again, sustainable, a nutrition plan that is sustainable for you. If it's not sustainable, who cares? Why are you doing it? Stop doing it. It's just going to lead to frustration. It's going to lead to weight regain at the end. So there's no reason in doing it. Okay, there's no reason in doing it. If you want to be successful and sustainable, you can be successful just not eating. You can be successful eating chicken and broccoli. I don't know if you can be sustainable doing that. And so this is what I want you to think about. This is what this video was about. I asked you to kind of think about those preconceived notions: good food versus bad food, good diet versus bad diet. Why do you have those? What have you tried? Did it work? Did it not work? And now that you have this background, why did it work? And can we manipulate why it worked to make it more sustainable? Right? Did you cut out carbs and lost a lot of weight for a little while, but then regained it? Why did that work? Right? We may have regulated some of that appetite. We may have brought some of that down, right? So this is not difficult. This is not well, let me rephrase that. This is difficult because of the environment that we're currently in, right? But it is possible. Like, that's what I want you to know. This is absolutely 100% possible, but it's got to be an individualized plan. It's got to be a plan that takes into account you and your life and your environment and your daily routine. And it's got to include the foods that you love, right? Chocolate's not bad. Wine is not bad. Pizza is not bad. Ice cream is my favorite. Vanilla ice cream is like my thing. If we can't include those things, you're probably going to slide back, right? And it's going to be this back and forth and this yo-yo. So is it challenging up front? Yes, but it absolutely 100% is possible for everyone. Everyone is different at the rate they're going to do this at, but you can absolutely do it with that system and that structure in place, and finding a routine and finding a plan and a strategy and a structure that works for you. Okay? So I think that's it. That's all I had. Again, my goal in this was to give you some value, right? And giving you value. What you may have thought coming into this was, I'm going to give you I'm going to give you Diet X or Secret Y, or take this supplement, or you know what, just don't eat carbs, or lower your fat, right? And that would have been the simple story. But I don't like the simple stories, again, because I'm not going to be the one to perpetuate what we've been doing and dividing everybody and arguing over which is the best, because it truly doesn't matter. It truly matters about finding what works for you. So I'm just going to ask you, I'm going to invite you, if at some point today or tomorrow you would like to talk and see what coaching looks like within the Decatur coaching method, there is a link below to go ahead and schedule a call. Okay, I'd love to get on the phone with you. I'd love to talk about your goals. I'd love to see where I can help you ultimately, and help you find freedom with all of this. Help you find that energy, help you find that body, help you find the confidence, help you find all of those things that make us enjoy life. So ultimately, help you find happiness through exercise and nutrition, right? That's kind of what I do here. So thank you. I appreciate your time. If you've been here, if you've stuck around for 17 minutes now, I appreciate you. Click that link below. Let's jump on the phone, and I would love to talk to you soon.